Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Learn with Juicy. Today, I am going to tell you a true story. It is the story of my father and my mother. It is a story about love, sacrifice, and a very painful betrayal. As you listen to this story, try to pay attention to the pronunciation and the flow of the sentences. Let's learn English together while listening to this life story. Let's start at the beginning. My mother was born into a life of luxury. She lived in a small, peaceful town where everyone knew her family. Her father was the richest man in the area. My mother never walked on the dirty ground. She lived like a fragile princess. She was the jewel of the family, innocent, protected, and incredibly beautiful. She spent her days reading books and dreaming of true love. But she did not know that her fairy tale was about to turn into a tragedy. Meanwhile, my father came from a completely different world. He was from a big city, but his family was broken. His parents were separated when he was young. He lived with his father until tragedy struck. His father suddenly passed away. Left alone, he had no choice. He moved to his mother's town to start over. His mother was rich, so he drove fast cars and wore expensive suits to hide his sadness. Destiny has a funny way of bringing people together. They met at a local festival under the bright lights and loud music. When my father saw my mother, time seemed to stop. He approached her with confidence. "Hello," he said. "I am new here." My mother, usually shy, looked into his eyes and smiled. That smile was the beginning of everything. He pursued her relentlessly. He sent her gifts and love letters. Finally, my mother fell in love with him too. They started meeting in secret, behind the old temple, near the river, anywhere they could be alone. But there was a giant barrier. They belonged to different religions. In those days, this was a huge problem. My mother's parents found out about the romance. They were furious. They forbade her from seeing him. They tried to arrange a marriage with someone else. But walls cannot stop true love. My mother made a choice that changed her destiny forever. She chose love over family. She chose him over her God. On a stormy night, she packed a small bag and ran away into the darkness. She left her wealth, her comfort, and her parents' love behind. To marry him, she officially converted to his religion. She thought, "Now we can be happy." She was so wrong. Life in my father's house was a nightmare. My father's mother was a cold woman. She never accepted my mother. She looked down on her, even though my mother came from a rich family too. My mother, once a princess, became a servant in that house. She cooked, she cleaned, and she cried. Yet she endured it all because she loved my father. Months later, my mother discovered she was pregnant. It should have been a time of joy, but her body was weak. She suffered from terrible morning sickness. She could not keep any food down. She became bedridden. She lay in bed all day, staring at the ceiling, feeling lonely. As I mentioned, my mother's parents were still very angry. They had cut all ties with my mother. They acted like she did not exist. However, news travels fast in small towns. News of her illness reached her old home. Her older sister convinced the parents to let her visit. "She needs help," the sister said. When the sister arrived, my mother wept with relief. She hugged her sister, thinking she was safe. Mother thought, "Finally, my family forgives me. My sister is here to take care of me." But the sister did not come to nurse her back to health. She came with envy in her heart. While my mother was trapped in her room, struggling to breathe, a secret romance began downstairs. My father and the sister spent a lot of time together. They talked, they laughed, and then they crossed the line. They started an affair right under my mother's nose. They went to the cinema. They walked in the park holding hands. They acted like a couple, forgetting the sick woman at home. In a small town, walls have ears and eyes. The neighbors saw everything. The shopkeepers whispered, "Look at the husband and the sister." "Disgusting," they said. The whole town knew the ugly truth. But my poor mother, blinded by trust and pain, knew absolutely nothing. She caressed her belly, dreaming of our future, while her world was crumbling around her. She only worried about her unborn baby, unaware that her heart was about to be broken. She trusted the two people she loved the most, and they both betrayed her. Now let's look at 5 interesting vocabulary words from the story to help you improve your English. 1. Fragile, easily broken or damaged, delicate and not strong. Example: my mother lived like a fragile princess who never walked on dirty ground. 2. Relentlessly, continuing without stopping, showing no loss of intensity or strength. Example: my father pursued her relentlessly by sending her gifts and love letters every day until she said yes. 3. Endured, to suffer something painful or difficult patiently without giving up. Example: my mother endured the cruel treatment from her mother-in-law because she wanted to save her marriage. 4. Bedridden, confined to bed because of sickness or old age, unable to get up. Example: because of her severe morning sickness, she became bedridden and could not leave her room for months. 5. Crumbling, breaking or falling apart into small pieces, collapsing or failing completely. Example: she was dreaming of a happy future with her baby, while her world was crumbling around her due to her husband's betrayal.